Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. You need a roof, you call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Use the code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. All right, y'all, Tigers win 20-10. LSU beats Florida. That is never a bad thing at all. Tigers are 3-0. They're number 3 in the country. The defense is absolutely outstanding. And you picked off DJ Lagway 5 times, and you did what you had to do to win that game. And now you get a little bit of a breather with Southeastern coming in on Saturday. Maybe a chance to rest some guys, get some guys healthy before you go to Ole Miss in 2 weeks. So I know what everybody wants to talk about. Talked about it last night on Whiskey and Wine. Recorded my Locked On episode sometime around 1 a.m. Edited Hunt's column for LouisianaSports.net before I got in bed around 2 a.m. So late night, but I know what everybody wants to talk about. It's the offense and Brian Kelly going off on the offense or on Cobble for asking the question about the offense. It was such a weird thing. Like, I know why he did it. He meaning that's not true. Huh. I know why Brian Kelly went off the way he did. They just got a big win over Florida. Players are excited, and the first question out the chute is one about something went wrong. And there were two things, I'm sure. Number one is he was defending his team. He felt like he was defending his team. Because they're going to see it. Number two is I don't think he was necessarily mad at Cobble. I think Cobble was just the whipping boy in that situation. Because Brian Kelly hears all the noise. You know, he hears all the noise about the offense. Like they listen to what we say and read what we write, and they know. And if it's not him directly, then there are people within Sports Information that do and tell him what the opinions are. And he's aware. He's very aware. And so that was his opportunity to clap back at the people that are complaining about a team that's ranked 3rd in the country and undefeated. And it wasn't necessarily Cobble. It was just Cobble was the guy who asked the question. It could have been me or anybody else in that room, because somebody was going to ask that question, because it's 100% the right question to ask. I mean, the reality is when you're here at LSU, the expectation is to win a national championship. That's not going to happen every year. And I think we all realistically understand that, but that is the goal. Like, the goal is to win the national championship. And you look at a team like this that has the defense that's very capable of, clearly very capable of competing against anybody you play, with great talent and depth and all that stuff. But it's fair to ask. It is fair to ask, like, is the offense good enough? And the perplexing part is, you have talented people. Like, Smyer's a 4,000-yard passer. Berrien Brown has been a great SEC receiver. Aaron Anderson was your leading receiver a year ago. We've seen Chris Hilton be great. We've seen Nick Anderson set the Oklahoma single-season receiving touchdowns record. Like, you've got talent there. Like, that's undeniable. And it just hasn't all come together. So I think that's the concern, right? It's the one thing that could stop you from reaching your goal. So they got to come together. I don't think, objectively, don't think Brian Kelly thinks that this team is a good rushing team right now, because they aren't. They can't run the football. Now, I will say, and I said this last night, time to sleep on it, think on it, all that. I will still say that I think you've got 2 more weeks, because, a season unfolds and you learn context on your team and things like that. Like, a lot of people today are wondering, is the Clemson win really that good? A lot of people are wondering that. I think the Clemson win is still fantastic. Clemson still has NFL players everywhere, really tough environment. You went on the road with a bunch of new dudes and found a way to win that game in the fourth quarter. Uh, Clemson yesterday lost to Georgia Tech, but number one, that's a really good Georgia Tech team. People just don't think it because they don't watch Georgia Tech. But Brent Key is a great coach. That's their 6th win over a ranked team since he's been at Georgia Tech. And Klubnik fumbled, which led to a Georgia Tech field goal. Klubnik threw an interception at the goal line when they were going in to take the lead, and Clemson missed a field goal. So that's a 13-point swing right there, man. In a game where Georgia Tech won it on a walk-off 55-yard bomb, right? So, I mean, Clemson probably should have won that game by double digits if they played cleaner, but they didn't. So yes, I still think and Clemson has one ranked opponent left. It's Florida State. Like they could run the table, be in the ACC championship game again, be right back in the playoff combo. Could very easily happen. But the next 2 weeks, you get Southeastern, you get Ole Miss. I'm not sure if y'all watched Ole Miss last night, but Ole Miss gave up. Ole Miss beat Arkansas, but they won the game 41-35. Arkansas put up 526 yards total, 305 passing, 221 rushing, and controlled the ball for 33 minutes and 11 seconds to 26-49. Arkansas's offense just went to Ole Miss and put it on them. Like, that Ole Miss defense stinks. They're not any good. So if the next 2 weeks you play an FCS opponent and a bad defense at Ole Miss and you can't move the ball, then it's all right, smash the panic button if you get to that point. Okay. Let's say some good morning, y'all. I appreciate everybody for hanging out with us here. But most importantly, Tigers win 20-10. You beat Florida. Your defense was awesome. Grant Chadwick was great. Some of y'all might have rolled your eyes, but I told you in fall camp that I had a staff. This isn't my opinion. I had a staff member tell me that Grant Chadwick has a chance to leave LSU as the greatest punter in program history. He's that physically talented, and you saw it. He had 4 punts over 50 yards. He bombed a 58-yarder, 4 punts inside the 20. I mean, on a day where Florida's offense couldn't do diddly poo against the LSU defense, Grant Chadwick kept making them go 80, 90 yards. I mean, Florida's starting field position was their own 39, their own 21, their own 6, their own 25, their own 25, their own 14, own 25, their own 45. They had a 20-yard punt return there. Own 25, their own 2, their 37, their own 15. I mean, Grant Chadwick. Make defense great again. Morning. I really think the offense wanted to take more chances, be more aggressive. They could have scored more. I think the game plan was play competent. They did that. That's 100% the game plan. Brian Kelly told you after the game. He said, we did what we needed to do to win the game. That's what he said. You don't have to like it. I don't have to like it. It's not aesthetically pleasing. I wish they felt better about their pass rush or their pass blocking, so they could have given us time to throw the ball. Let me see if it's up. Hang on. I was mentioning this last night. I want to see if PFF is up yet. We may see this together, y'all. Okay, it's up. Good. Oops, sorry, that's wrong. Okay, here we go. Nussmeier on the day had 3 passes that went 20 yards in the air, and they were both over the middle. He was 2 of 3 for 88 yards, and so the Xavier Thomas touchdown and the Bauer Sharp 65-yarder. Those were his 2 completions, and I don't know what the third one was. But he had, let's see, within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, 3, 4, 8, 14, 15, 16 of his pass attempts were at or behind the line of scrimmage. 16 were within 10 yards. 16 of his pass attempts. Then he had 5 that were between 10 and 20 yards, and 3 that were more than 20 yards. I mean, the whole game plan was keep it at the line of scrimmage. I mean, it's clear that was the game plan. So, okay, I wish you were better running the ball and stretch the field. You didn't. Let me see you do it against Southeastern, which nobody's going to applaud you for doing it against Southeastern. You can only be chastised for not being able to do it. If you do it against an FCS team, you're going to say, well, it's an FCS team, you should. Okay. And then you go to Ole Miss, and you should absolutely be able to do whatever you want against Ole Miss. Kelly Gross. Hey, Thomas, good morning. Excuse me. Austin, great Les Miles style win. If Brown's TV count against Clemson, we kick a field goal at the end of the half and win 27-10. I don't know, Austin, that I agree that the vibe would be different. Browns play against Clemson, and then also Bauer Sharps. Remember, Bauer Sharp had the play down the sideline. It had been about a 30-yarder where he just barely missed scraping his toe. I think people would still feel the way they do because last week against Tech was sloppy and ugly, and then you follow it up with last night offensively, and on a day where you get 5 interceptions, your offense puts up 13 points on a day where you get 5 interceptions. That's just not good enough. Now look, you would have gotten points at the end of the game, which is fair to mention, right? I mean, when you got the last on Pickett's interception, then Durham ripped off the 51-yarder, and then they sat on. So they would have gotten points there, which is fair to mention. But the first interception from Spears, you get the ball and you go 3 and out. Incomplete, 1-yard run, pass blocked at the line of scrimmage. By the way, that one stunk because, man, the receiver was open. And just a really good play by the defender to get his hand up. So, but you went 3 and out after that one. Hey, Jacob, good morning. Glad LSU won. Not happy with Virginia Tech Hokies lost to Old Dominion. I had money on Old Dominion, called that one on Friday. I don't know why Virginia Tech keeps scheduling Old Dominion. I think that's the 3rd time they've lost now to Old Dominion. Stop scheduling Old Dominion. Hey, Roll Tide 99, what up? Another solid week of college football. Really good weekend, man. Some great games. Tennessee, Georgia was awesome. Clemson, Georgia Tech was awesome. Notre Dame against A&M was awesome. Really, really good weekend. And No Sweat Sports, good morning. Hey, Brady, good morning. Rex, note to self, do not ask BK about the offense on Monday. No, I probably will ask him. I mean, I'll be very thoughtful in how I phrase the question, but I'm going to ask him. I mean, it's the question. It's like for him to say the thing that I didn't like, I know a lot of you are going to think this is just media guy defending media guy. For him to say at the end that, say for an experienced group of me, whatever he said.
I know you love these. This is ridiculous. For a group of seasoned reporters, that kind of question is so out of line.
Kind of question is out of line? The kind of question's out of line? I mean, I'm trying to think of something that would be out of line. I mean, asking about the offense is the question to ask. I mean, if I'm going into that post-game press conference thinking, all right, I need quotes about telling the story of the game, it's the 5 interceptions, certainly Deshaun Spears, had 2 and a pick 6. It's Grant Chadwick, and it's LSU's inability, probably Nussmeier's interception, right? And the inability to get going offensively. I mean, those were the stories of the game. I mean, you had 5 3-and-outs in this ball game. I mean, Florida, it was a reversal of last year where they beat you on the stat sheet. And LSU's plan was right. It was the right game plan. It was, we're going to make them drive the length of the field and bet they're going to keep making mistakes. But they had 23 first downs to 10. They outgained you 366 to 322. They outpassed you 287 to 220. Now, LSU outrushed them 102 to 79, thanks to the 51-yarder there at the end of the game. They held the ball for 38 minutes to your 22. I mean, it's certainly not out of line. That's the question to ask. Is the offense playing too conservative these past 3 games? I think the commonality. Let me give you an illustration. I'll do this on my Locked On today as well. Okay, I'm just going to pick a game. Okay, I'm going to pick Baylor from last year. All right. Last year against Baylor, Nuss was 4. Told you last night they took 3. Like, I'll pick another game. Southern Cal last year, pretty good opponent, season opener, 3. They took 5 shots in that game. Last night, you took 3. Let's pick another one. How about South Carolina last year? I'm just picking them. I have no idea what this can say. South Carolina, there were 3. He hit them all. 1 to the left, 1 to the middle, 1 to the right. Hit them all. 29 yards, 23 yards, 46 yards. Road game early in the season, really good pass rush, right? Ole Miss. They took 16 shots against Ole Miss. 5 beyond 20 yards to the left, 6 beyond 20 yards to the middle, 5 beyond 20 yards to the right. 16 times they threw it beyond 20 yards last year in the game against Ole Miss. 16 times. Last night they did it 3. Like, is very clear. It's just very clear what they were doing. They were not going to run the risk of making the mistake to give Florida a short field that could get them beat, because that's how they got beat in this game last year. They just weren't going to let history repeat itself. Okay. But if you're sitting here skeptical today going, they're awful. Okay. Like, they've got to show this group has to show they can do it. And they got a good opportunity the next 2 weeks. So let me see if the next 2 weeks, Rooney, what's up? If the next 2 weeks we see more of this against an FCS opponent and Ole Miss, sound the alarm, because something's got to change if you want to win a championship, because you're not going to be able to win a championship that way against every team you play. Hey, Brad, good morning. Talked about that. Yes, I do think he was wrong to go off the way he did. Hey, Matt. Embora. Hey, Brady. Post-game presser was lit. Matt, how about Damian Ramos, the unsung hero of the game? Too long. That's another thing, man. Like, think about how good LSU is on special teams now. With Brown and Xavier Thomas' return ability, Ramos as your kicker, Burrell as your kickoff specialist who kicks everything through the end zone, and then Chadwick. Like, you were finally really good in the third phase. By the way, somebody asked me as well, Damian Ramos or Ramos. I'll play this for y'all. Because, like, I know everybody says Ramos, but I say Ramos because of this. This is a video on Ramos's Twitter.
Actually live at BatonRougeNLClub.com, and we need your help. What's up, Tiger fans? This is Damian Ramos. We are officially live at Baton Rouge. What's up, Tiger fans? This is Damian Ramos.
I mean, dude says Ramos. It's on his Twitter. Him, not me. Him on his Twitter. He says, "What's up, Tiger fans? This is Damian Ramos." He says Ramos. I'm calling him Ramos. Okay. You can call him whatever. You can say Ramos. He says Ramos. I'm calling him Ramos. Talked about that already. And by the way, I did do a lot. I did my Locked On last night after the game and talked about it a good bit as well. So if you want to check out my Locked On LSU post game, I go into a lot of detail about it if you want to get those comments too. Hey, Sean. I think you were spot on with Locked On Whiskey and bottom line of his game plan. I mean, it's not letting me play the video here. I apologize for that. So I'll play it again. But I mean, just listen to what Kelly said. Like, we have to do.
You love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
Played the game to win the game. I mean, he's telling you that was their plan. You may not like the plan. The plan may not be sustainable. It may not be replicable against every opponent, but it's what they did in this game to win it, and they won it. Alex Ornament, was it perfect? Will we take it? Beat Ole Miss? Either Bama or are you on the road? They're in the playoffs. Otherwise, they need help. Jesse, morning. I thought Kelly was fine with his rant. They won the game. I understand the question was fair. I think Kelly was okay. A coach can say what he wants in a post-game presser. That's fine. And coaches oftentimes talk to their teams, fans, whatever, through the media. That's fine. The only part that I didn't like is when at the end of the press conference, he started to go off on Cobble with the "you're spoiled" for a group of seasoned reporters. That question's out of line. Like, that's not. You don't have to like the question. You can answer however you want. But then when you flip it and you start criticizing the person asking the question, that's where I have a problem, because the question was perfectly legitimate. Only Cobble was wrong for asking the question. Maybe don't lead with that after the first set. Okay, that's where. Hold on. That's where That's where I think there is a lack of understanding from someone who is from a fan and then media. And I don't mean this to be an insult, but when you're in the post-game press conference, okay, it's 5 minutes. I mean, and you're not guaranteed that you're going to get the microphone again. Like in those press conferences, a lot of times, like you might get one question. And so if there's a question you need answered, like you get the microphone, you ask the question. So Kelly was 13 minutes last night. So point being, like, and there is no sequencing of questions. It's not like a one-on-one interview. Like if it's a one-on-one interview and I know I've got 10 minutes with Brian Kelly, I probably wouldn't lead with that. But this is a press conference. There is no sequencing. You're asking, whenever you get the mic, you're asking the question that's going to help you put together whatever it is you're doing post-game. So again, remember, like the reason you have a post-game press conference immediately after is so that the people who are telling the story with pictures, words, videos, whatever, they can use your quotes, your perspective to help tell the story. So what are the things that tell the story of this game? Well, there's 5 interceptions from DJ Lagway. There was Nussmeier's interception. There was Grant Chadwick, who was really good. There was Deshaun Spears. And there was LSU's offense being pretty anemic. Like, you have to ask that question. It doesn't matter in what order you ask the question. Like, that's not what you think about going to a press conference. It's just, what's the question that you need to ask? West Weeks' injury is something that needs to be asked. By the way, I was told this morning, again, confirmed it is a calf strain. And it is not thought to be serious. They're going to do some testing to determine the calf sprain. I don't know. And forgive me, I do not know the difference between a sprain and a strain. I don't know the difference. I'll ask. But does not appear to be as bad as it looked initially. I think his emotion, what I understand, his emotion, West Weeks' emotion on the sideline was the fact that he wanted to be in the game, not because he had gotten bad news, if that makes sense. All right, please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Brett, how'd you know Lagway was a fraud? I bought it because all offseason national media told me he's elite talent. Well, he is an elite talent, Brad. That's the point that I've been making. Like, it is one thing to be a great physical talent, but it is hard to play quarterback in the SEC. And until you do things like go on the road to Baton Rouge and win, it's like, by the way, if you looked at Lagway's where this was DJ Lagway's first real tough road environment. Now he came in on the road last year at Tennessee in the second half when he had an injury. So he played in the second half and they lost in overtime. But other than that, the games he played in, Kentucky at home, Georgia's a neutral site. And I'm not saying that that's a cinch, and they got hurt in that game, by the way. LSU was at home. Ole Miss was at home. They went to Florida State, who was 2-10. And then they played Tulane in the bowl game. And then this year they played Long Island, South Florida. Like, this was his first real, true SEC road start. Like, how'd you think that was going to go? I mean, I think he's going to be good. He's an outstanding talent. And nobody's arguing to the contrary of that. But I mean, Garrett Nussmeier was a fourth-year guy last year, and he had some bad moments on the road. You know, that takes seasoning.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
All right, Parish Construction and Roofing. Leon AJ Halsey's proof recruiting services are crud. First round pick potentially. Same class with Denver Harris, how he ended up in New Mexico State. Y'all, this is the thing. I'll point this out again. And y'all have seen it now, right? I mean, it's one thing for us, the media, to go to practice and tell you, man, AJ Halsey is awesome. Like, first day out there, you could just tell. His ball instincts are incredible. The interception last night, oh my God. Like, the way he just sort of, I mean, you saw it. Like, he was behind the receiver in the corner, and he waited for the ball, broke on it. The instinctive ability to break on it, make the interception. He had a beautiful, like, physical tackle on a third down late in the game. He's great. I mean, he's a great player. But he was a 3-star rated in the thousands when he was coming out of high school. So, you know, the challenge is when you look at things, and I have said this, but I'll say it again now with context. You look at blue chip ratio and things like that, S&P plus, returning production metrics. Okay, well, LSU loses Sage Ryan, who was a 5-star and started for LSU and had played for 4 years and started, I think, every game last year for you. You lose Sage Ryan. Well, the computers look at that as a negative. You had a 5-star who had started for you and you lost him. And you bring in AJ Halsey, who is a 3-star. That's a downgrade in the computers. Y'all, ain't nobody listening to this or watching this right now that's confused in any way. AJ Halsey is a dramatic upgrade over Sage Ryan. But the computers don't see that. That's why it's really hard to look at metrics like that don't consider your college career and portal rankings, because sometimes dudes at 18, yes, how do you end up at New Mexico State? Because sometimes dudes at 18 aren't what they are at 22. Like, we all went to school with somebody who was shaven in the 8th grade, who got to high school, everybody caught up with him, and he quit football. Like, because he wasn't the dude anymore. Like, we all know someone like that. Might have been you. It's just dudes develop differently. I mean, why did Khalil Mack end up at Buffalo? Not the Buffalo Bills, the Buffalo Bulls in college. Khalil Mack, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, is at Buffalo. Because Khalil Mack didn't become Khalil Mack until his second, third year, whatever, at Buffalo. Hey, Lars, good morning. Man, get out of here, dude. Like I actually want to ban you for that. Like, do not come here. Do not come here on a Sunday morning with that kind of energy. Don't do it. Seriously. If that's the energy you're bringing, please leave and don't come back. There's a time and a place for things if you want to express your opinion, and you could be disappointed, but express it in a way that's going to be at least respectful, and especially here on a Sunday morning, man. Like, don't make me run you out of here, bro. Like, that's nobody wants that. Thomas, recruiting service or scam. 3-0. Cobble double down. I want to make you run the ball, frankly. Was true. I mean, they can't run the ball. And Kelly said they did at the end. All you need is one. That's also not true. You have to be able to run the ball consistently throughout a game and get first downs and burn clock and move the sticks. And you didn't do that. I mean, they were averaging about 2 yards a carry up to the point where Durham busted the long one. And I'm glad he did. It shows it's in there. I mean, that's the point that Kelly's making. It shows it's in there. But anyway. Morning, Scone. Happy with a win. Are you more impressed with 5 interceptions or with it from 4 different guys? Well, I'm glad it was 4 different guys, but at the same time, some of those were just Lagway making boneheaded plays. Man, the one to pick it at the end was absolutely was disgraceful. And the one to Cooley as well over the middle. I mean, he's just throwing the ball up for grabs. Matt, see Pyburn on Caden's long run making a block. Well, Pyburn is a defensive player. He would not have been on the field. I'm not sure who you're talking about. You're talking about Bauer Sharp at tight end? Alex helps recruiting, but recruits the game. Yeah, that's yesterday, by the way, was a massive recruiting day. You had Peyton Houston there. I mean, you had all the 27 guys were there. KJ Edwards, the running back they're trying to flip from Texas A&M. Emmanuel Ianacho, the big offensive lineman who's committed to Oregon that they're trying to flip. I mean, yesterday was a big day. I mean, big environment in Tiger Stadium. It was a good opportunity for it. Hey, Matt, can you ask Shea if Napier gets fired, how does that change Haven to Florida? Sure. I mean, objectively, I mean, I think that would happen. I think here's the challenge. LSU wants to take 2, and it certainly seems like Colton Nussmeier is going to commit. The question is, does someone like Haven or your Peyton Houston, like, do they want to be in a class with 2 quarterbacks? And if Nussmeier wants to commit, you're going to take his commitment. I mean, he's a top 10 quarterback in the country. Golf South, good morning. One of your most common phrases in the Edo era was winning masks deficiencies. It's not just the Ozone era. That's every sport in every era. It needs to be said about BK, especially this season. It's biased not to. I always say that winning masks deficiencies. I also think there's different ways to win. So, I say winning mass deficiencies and losing magnifies them. So, I am not hand-waving the offense. And I'd be consistent on this. I've said it on every platform. I'm not hand-waving the offense. What I am saying is I understand what Brian Kelly said last night, which is they did what they had to do to win the game. And in that game, you knew the one thing. I mean, we talked about it all week. It's not like this is hindsight 2020. I mean, Golf Southern, you're here every morning. A lot of you listen to Locked On every day. You listen to AFR all week. The biggest topic we talked about all week was Braylon Moore and whether they were going to run him out there or not on a bum ankle. Why? Hang on, Drew's up. Well, get it. I forgot what we were saying. I'm sorry. I know we're talking about something about winning mass deficiencies or something. I forgot what we're saying. Let's see. So I'm about half an hour behind on comments. I'll just go to the bottom and work my way up. Hold on. You're saying Pyburn was in the game on that run? You sure it was Pyburn? Let me see. Admittedly, at that point, I was getting ready for whiskey and wine. Oh, that's where I screwed up. Whoops. So I was kind of like the game was over and they were running the clock, so I wasn't super locked into that play. Nobody put this video on Twitter? What are we talking about here? What are we doing? Did nobody really put the Caden Durham video on Twitter last night? What are we doing? Ugh. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to find that play, y'all. Sorry. Nope. Didn't put Caden Durham's run on Twitter. Oh well. I'll go back and look at it. Let's see. Chance, perhaps Weak Brothers apps would be a blessing going forward, getting youngsters experience. I'll tell you this much. Sometimes we're right about things, sometimes we're wrong about things. And one of the things that we did talk about this offseason is that the future at linebacker looks bright. Devon, and that showed itself last night because Tylen Singleton started getting reps early in fall camp this year. And we talked about him, like, I had to check the roster, and he looked really good. And so Keys. Okay, my baby. Little baby bum, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Okay, I take it to your playmat. Okay, take it to your playmat, please. Thank you. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, take it to your playmat. We'll see you later. Okay. Young linebackers. So Devon Keys, Tylen Singleton were both really good. Zach Weeks got in there late, and y'all got this. If you haven't seen Zach Weeks yet, you got to see it there. Like, he is bigger than the other two, and he should be a high school senior. Remember, he's a reclass. So he was 35. He got in the game. And then you got Keelan Moses as well. And y'all haven't even really seen CJ Jim Coyley yet. And Charles Ross. Those two, they played special teams. So you'd have to be looking for them to notice they were 30 and 31. Ross is 30 and Jim Coyley's 31, I believe. The Jim Coyley's 31. Did Ross change his number? Did Ross change his number? Jim Coyley is wearing 30. Oh, Charlie, he did 26. Oh, he definitely changed his number. Okay, so Ross is wearing 26. He changed his number. Ross is wearing 26 and Jim Coyley is wearing 31. Anyway, the point is, like, you'll see, like, the young linebackers are really good. Dennis, I formation with a bruiser at fullback. Listen, I'll tell you this. I don't mind more power sets. I do think part of the reason you've been unable to run the ball out of your shotgun formation with zone read looks is your quarterback is no threat to run. I mean, I know everybody's been saying that. They want to see Nussmeier run. I agree with you. But I don't think Nussmeier needs to run. I think he's got to be willing to run when it's there. And he did last night a couple times. But obviously, I mean, you've got big, strong offensive linemen, and you could give a running back. I know Hester talks about this all the time. Like, prefer to run out of the I as opposed to an offset formation, because instead of when you're offset, your first step is lateral instead of north and south. When you're in the I, your first step is forward. When you're offset, your first step is to the side to get the ball, and then you go. And sometimes that step, that count can cause. That's not me saying it. That's a dude that played in the NFL. I played both running back and fullback, so I wouldn't mind seeing more of that. Scone, move your pool umbrella. It's disturbing. It wasn't a pool umbrella. It's the behind on Whiskey One. That's the umbrella in the table. We had a table behind me. Let's see. Matt, did you get the game last night? It was great. Lots of friendly fans. I did not. I watched it at home. Thought about it. Talked about it with Erica. Decided not to go out there, and we'll make it to a game a little bit later in the year. Let's see. Toss play on the last drive was perfect use to play over and over. Man, I want to go. I need to go back and watch that last play. Admittedly, like I was walking between inside and outside, getting set up for Whiskey and Wine. And when I walked outside, it's when Durham had broke through. He was running down the left sideline. Okay. Little baby bum, Johnny, yes, papa. There you go. Okay. Well, you're a sleepyhead. You slept until 11 o'clock, you sleepyhead. Okay. Please smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Pyburn and Sharp were both in at fullback. I need to go look at this play again. Brian Kelly said at the end of his press conference what I wanted to hear. He's willing to go to the I formation and run the ball. Every back wants the fullback in front of him. I'd be curious who they use at fullback. Like if they actually ran out of the I formation, like, I mean, Malachi Lane, like who would they even run at fullback? I'm checking to see right now if they even have a fullback on the roster. Yeah, like they don't have anybody listed as a fullback. Like would they use Lane? I get probably Malachi Lane. Yeah, that's interesting. Or would you use one of the tight ends? Anyway. This, I keep getting it like, no, Nussmeier's not banged up. Like, I've talked about it a bunch now. It's somebody started this rumor. This is why I hate the internet. I don't hate the internet. I love the internet. The internet's great. It allows us connectivity around the world, but instantaneously do things like this in HD and I love the internet. One of the challenges that go along with the internet and things like that is things like that. So somebody starts a rumor and then does it spread? Like look at, I'm not gonna say that, but no. So it was the same thing with Nussmeier's ACL, right? That rumor spread was rampant. That Nuss ACL during camp. Remember that? And then it was nothing. He has tendonitis, which is knee pain. Okay. Like who doesn't have that? Okay, baby. Thank you. Little baby bum cat. Okay, take it, please. Can you take it to your playmat, please? Okay, there we go. It's crazy. Let's see. Yeah. So 3 weeks ago was when that Nussmeier oblique thing started. I've asked a dozen people about it, and they all insist the same thing. There's nothing to it. They have no idea where that started. So no, I don't think that's it at all. I genuinely believe in that game last night, they looked at what happened to them a year ago where they went to Florida and they dominated the game and they lost by double digits because they couldn't protect Nussmeier. And they didn't want to let Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks and George Gums and all those dudes in that defensive front wreck them again. And so they weren't going to let them. They were going to play conservative on offense, and they were going to play great defense and play field position and win the game. And it's exactly what they did. So that's what Brian Kelly, I believe that's what he meant at the end of the game when he said, we did what we had to do to win the game. Okay. It was not the most aesthetically pleasing thing, admittedly. And I would love, when he said, what do you want us to score for 70 against Florida? No. But I mean, you get 5 turnovers. I don't think it's unrealistic to think you should be scoring in the 30s. But they just weren't going to take risks and take shots. So, We'll see. Like this, I just disagree with. He said because fans are fans and they always want to fire the OC. No rhythm, creativity, or tempo. So the creativity and the tempo thing is just wrong. Like they did run tempo last night. And to say they don't have creativity is stupid. Like, are you paying attention? I mean, they're using Xavier Thomas as a receiver, a slot back, a running back. They're motioning Aaron Anderson. They handed the ball to Aaron Anderson. The conversation we've had here is I think they've done too much. Like everyone's saying, man, run the eye and give it to your talented running back behind a big offensive line with a blocker in front. Okay. Like, I think they're probably doing too much offensively, as opposed to like simplifying. I mean, think about Mike Leach. He had Mike Leach's play sheet was this big. He would just sit there with his little play sheet, They had like 7 plays. Now they could run 10 different actions off of each play based on what the defense showed. But, sometimes there's beauty in simplicity because it allows you to perfect the thing you're doing. It's like Raising Cane's. They do one thing, chicken fingers. You go to a place like IHOP and the menu's 7 pages long. It's like, well, what are you? Are you doing steaks? Or are you doing pancakes? Or are you doing waffles? Or are you doing quiche? Like, what are you? What is the thing you do? Jeff, good morning. Seven's one of the best players in the nation. Our secondary is playing amazing. They have real guys all over the field. Our team is built to win. Coach to put them in that spot. Yes, the defense is great, and Harold Perkins looks awesome. Ha.
Thanks for laughing.
Ha. I mean,
Ha.
we don't always get everything right, y'all. Lord knows I get a lot wrong. I picked Clemson to beat LSU. Picked Clemson to beat Georgia Tech yesterday. The LSU defense, I was spot on. It was so obvious to see. And Harold Perkins playing in his position, a natural position to him, looked awesome in fall camp. And I told you that. And I also told you Barry and Brown is awesome too. And he is. But you didn't need me to tell you that. Just watch him at Kentucky, which I still can't believe Kentucky didn't find a way to use that dude. It's unbelievable. Pat, I'm going to speak my mind. I feel if Lagway didn't throw 5 interceptions, we've been Florida 20, LSU 10. Aside from that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? But he did, and you give your guys credit for that. And they knew what they were going up against, and a guy that was in his first really true SEC road environment, and a guy who hasn't been very good, has been sharp. And you have a really talented defense. So you played the game to win it. I'm with you. Like, I'm with everybody on this. Really, if you're concerned about the offense, I'm not saying you're wrong to be concerned about the offense. What I'm saying is I'm willing to give you 2 weeks because you play Clemson and Florida, who are 2 great defenses, a great talent on defense, and you weren't going to risk losing the game because of that. So let me see the next 2 weeks, right? You're playing an FCS team and you're playing Ole Miss, who's not very good defensively. Like, you should be able to get going offensively these next 2 weeks. If you don't, then you have a real problem at your core of what you are. This is the thing people forget about. And I mentioned last night on Whiskey and Wine. I'll say it again. Ohio State was awesome by the end of the year. If people actually, and I get it. Most of you are not Ohio State fans. You're not watching Ohio State every week. But remember, Chip Kelly came in as the offensive coordinator last year. And the narrative around Ohio State the whole season was why Chip Kelly couldn't figure out what to do with all those great offensive weapons. You had a new quarterback who came in. Remember, they brought in Howard from from Kansas State. And boy, and they brought in they had Travion Henderson at running back. They brought in the running back from Ole Miss, Judkins. They had Jeremiah Smith. I mean, they were loaded. And that offense struggled to get going throughout the year. And everyone's like, what's wrong? Got all these. And by the end of the year, when they lost to Michigan, Chip Kelly made a change. And when they got in the playoff and they hit their stride, and they were awesome. And they rolled all the way to a national championship. Anyway. Let's see. Reporter's jobs asked question fans will want to have answered. I was at the game. I'm sure every fan would have asked the same question. Terrible on BK. So you're almost half true there. It's not the job to go in there and ask what a fan wants, because a fan wants us to ask, why aren't you going to fire Joe Sloan? Which is a stupid question. That's an objectively stupid question that nobody would ask in a reasonable professional setting. So it's not, the job isn't to ask what fans would ask. It's your job is to ask questions to tell the story of the team or the game or whatever the situation is. So what are the things that tell the story of that game? And the story of that game was your defense was awesome, 5 interceptions. Grant Chadwick was awesome, 4 punts of 50 yards or more, 4 inside the 20. And your injury to West Weeks, Whit Weeks' ejection for targeting, and your offense stuck in the mud. Like, that's a question that has to be asked. And I think that was Kelly sort of reacting as he would to a fan question, or to fan, to the way the fans have. I said it earlier. I'll say it again this way. He's very aware. All these coaches are very aware of what you think, of what I think. They listen to our shows. They watch the TV. They read the papers. Like they do. They say they don't. They do. They all do. They're all very aware of what is said and what the sentiment is. And if they're not doing it personally, like there's people within sports information who do it and tell them and all that sort of stuff. They're very aware. So, I think that was Brian Kelly reacting to that sentiment, not necessarily just taking aim at Michael Cobble. Cobble just happened to be the guy asking the question. It very well could have been me. Like, if I was there, that would have been the question I asked. I mean, I might have asked it differently, but then again, Cobble didn't even get his question out. Like, Kelly interrupted him before he actually even asked a question. He just said, I think you started saying the offense.
I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really?
What are you seeing with your offense? He didn't even finish the question. I mean, it certainly sounded like he was going to ask more there. I respect everybody that comes here and has a question or a comment. We may not agree, and that's okay. Hey, yes, sir. I got to meet the great Alvin Lee, man, at Charles Alexander's celebration on Friday. Former Tiger. Heading back to Texas. Great to meet you this weekend. Shout out to the coaches, Corey Raymond, Blake Baker for the rebirth to DBU. Defense looks strong. Offense. Hey, man. I will absolutely say, and by the way, this guy who played receiver split end for LSU. So, Brian Kelly, you got a former player asking about the offense. Oh, this is good to know. So we're talking about West Weeks. I was told it was a calf. That is a calf sprain. So it said a strain is an injury to a muscle or a tendon. A sprain is an injury to a ligament. Well, like, so do you have a ligament in your calf? I don't know. I have no idea. I was told that he has a calf sprain. Anyway, back to Alvin Lee's comment about Corey Raymond and Blake Baker. Yes, and I would like to continue pointing out to all of you who poo-pooed Corey Raymond, all of you who blamed Corey Raymond, who were happy to see Corey Raymond go. Y'all know who you are. I mean, I can go look up Twitter. I can go find receipts on Twitter. Y'all know who you are. Everybody blamed Corey Raymond. Corey Raymond lost a step. Corey Raymond stopped recruiting. No, he didn't. Never did. When Corey Raymond wasn't retained, all the dudes he recruited left. And then you had a dude come in who was recruiting 3 stars from Las Vegas. And Deuce Chestnut. Corey Raymond comes back all of a sudden. Oh, there's DJ Pickett. Oh, by the way, Corey Raymond recruited PJ Woodland, 3-star out of Mississippi, but fit the profile of what Corey Raymond wanted. Dog. Y'all know who you are. Corey Raymond had gotten, if you go back and look at those last recruiting classes at DB, he gotten Ricks, McGlothern, Jay Ward. Who was the 5? Sage Ryan was a 5-star who everybody wanted. Sage Ryan was a 5-star. Demarius McGee was a high 4-star, top 100 player in the country. Redarius Jones was another one. Again, these guys all transferred. They could have been the next generation, the next sort of era. They transferred out when Corey was let go. Who knows how that would have looked? Who's the 5-star safety I'm thinking of? Tolles was a top 100 overall player. He's going to play baseball too. Why am I blanking on his name? It's a 5-star. Anyway, I can't remember. Whatever. All right, y'all. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. Remember, we'd love to help you out. Roof repairs, replacements. Cordell Flott, thank you. Cordell Flott ended up being the best nickelback in the country, and that was that in 20 or 21. Mo Hampton, that's it. Mo Hampton, thank you. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Kelly's done being nice. Hang on. Kelly's done being nice to you, media punks. Oh, man. I don't know if you're serious. You might be. I don't know if you're serious. Where you fall on that. I've said it over and over. I think he's been great to work with. But I don't think it mattered who asked that question last night. They were going to get that response. He was ready to tee off on that. And I don't blame him for defending his team, his players, speaking to them through the media, all that sort of stuff. What I didn't like was at the end saying the question was out of line, because it wasn't out of line. I mean, look at the entire conversation here this morning. The entire conversation is all about the offense. It's not out of line. I mean, it is objective. Like on the broadcast last night, McDonough and McElroy, that's what they were saying. Championship defense, offense, long way to go. I mean, it is the conversation, right? Trevor, how about Spears? Look like Eric Reed out there. Literally said that for a year now. His first day of practice said he looks like Eric Reed did as a freshman. I didn't say he was going to be Eric Reed. I didn't say that, but physically he plays a position like Eric Reed did then. That is the comp for him. He could be great. Okay. All right, let's get out of here. Saints are playing here in about 35 minutes from right now, and I need to go get Otterlocks posted at louisianasports.net. So they're about to start rolling through the Cappers recap and all that stuff. So going to get that rolling here. Y'all please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel, Facebook like the page, share the post. Y'all have an awesome day. Please check out Locked on LSU from last night if you didn't already. And